Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the NoDQ.com live recap of Friday Night Smackdown for July the 16th, 2021. A new era in WWE. A major return, a very major return, and that is, of course, the return of the fans. The WWE Universe returned for Smackdown in Houston, Texas. And what a show, what an atmosphere. So far, so good. Now, as I've mentioned in other live streams, is this a quick fix? Will the returns of other superstars that we haven't seen in a while, will that fix things? Sure. But long term, how will things turn out in WWE for the remainder of 2021? So we're going to talk about SmackDown. I will give my thoughts on everything. Shout out to the chat room for tuning in live. And thank you to everybody watching this on demand. Now, I am going to be doing something different at the end of the live stream. I will be doing a special rapid fire Q&A where I will be answering questions, hopefully as quickly as possible. I would prefer yes or no questions. Anything about wrestling you want to ask me at the very end of the video, I will answer in rapid fashion. That will be at the end. But we're going to get to SmackDown first. We got some moderators here tonight, which is much appreciated. After the No DQ review, we had a little bit of issues with, well, one person trolling the chat room. We got Noah Foster here, the Cleaver, Colin Andrew, good old JM, Jeff Meacham is here. And congratulations on Jeff. Today was the 14-year anniversary of Talk Wrestling. And next year it will be 15 years. And also next year will be 20 years since Jeff first joined NoDQ.com back when it was the Mayhem.com. It's been a while. And we have some people in the chat room tonight that I haven't seen in a long time. I've had people messaging me saying that they watched wrestling for the first time in quite some time. A lot of people curious about tonight's show. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. We had a video package which was published on Vince McMahon's Twitter account and other WWE social media pages. The video welcoming back the fans. Very well done video. James sent in a $2 super chat, says, as Tuca would say, tight, tight. Awesome show. Thank you for that, James. That is a Breaking Bad reference, which I always appreciate. Wonka TV says, first time watching live. We had Vince McMahon open up the show. Of course, you gotta have Vince McMahon there. And the crowd, of course, very, very happy to see the chairman. Vince had a very brief message. He said, where the hell have you been? And then he took his leave. So short and sweet. You got Vince out there. Poor guy is looking pretty old, but glad he was able to be out there for this start of a new era in WWE. Shanti with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Shanti. Says, awkward that they went to break with Edge's music and came back with Reigns playing. Well, let's get to that right now. We had the first entrance of this SmackDown other than Vince, and that was the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, and holy crap, what a reaction. They blew the roof off of that place, not literally, but that was a superstar reaction, and I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but I got a little teary-eyed. Caitlin can back that up. And I actually have video of it. I might post it. I'm a little embarrassed about it, but this is the first time I have felt this kind of emotion for a wrestling show in a very long time. Just that reaction from Roman Reigns. I was so happy that we were back to the way we knew wrestling. with a packed arena, sold out in Houston, Texas, 14,000 people, and all the months of pushing Reigns as this heel. Like, how would the live fans react? And I mean, there were a lot of cheers, but there were a lot of boos too. He got a major superstar reaction, and it was so cool to, you felt the energy of the people when he came out there. And I love the new graphics, and let's talk about the set real quick. It's basically a giant HD screen, which I know some people when they first saw it were disappointed, but I think it's great. I think it makes the show look major league, and you know, we are in 2021, and I love all the 3D graphics that they're doing. I really like the new 3D video screen that they show while the wrestlers are coming down to the ring, showing various video clips and stuff. I thought that was a nice touch, a nice addition to the show. TJS thinks it's lazy, but I liked it. And it's gotten a lot of comparisons to WrestleMania 35. It feels major league, even though it's not particularly creative. You know, it's just a giant HD screen. You know, we are in the HD era, and I like the graphics. I like the stage. I'm totally cool with it. And it's huge, and it kind of goes with that larger than life vibe. Caitlin says, I like the visual of it behind them, as do I. And Jeff Meacham sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Jeff. Says, don't be embarrassed, brother. I got misty-eyed too. I was a mess for No Chance in Hell and for Edge. Well, we'll get to Edge in just a second here. Let's also talk about what happened before Smackdown. There were a few interesting people that showed up during the dark matches. They had a bunch of NXT guys there. They did 2 dark matches. And one of the people that came out for a dark match was Davey Boy Smith Jr., Harry Smith. You could check out a clip of him over at NoDQ.com. Interesting to see him there. And yeah, WWE bringing in the NXT guys. We'll see if there are some more call-ups in the near future. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, imagine if the first crowd was from Corpus Christi. Maybe they would have been hot since this was the first show back. And Houston's not too far from Corpus Christi, but the fans in Houston, they brought it. They brought the energy. And I knew it was going to be good when I saw a fan video of everybody chanting welcome back in the arena. They were hot. So I knew going in that the fans were really going to add to this show. Mike B with a $5 super chat says, it felt so awesome to have the fans back in full force. Hopefully we see the return of No More Words on Monday as well with Jeff Hardy. Yes, Jeff Hardy said it, and it's been something we've all been anticipating. Hopefully we get that sooner than later. And Daniel said, watching this live stream for the first time in a while. Thank you for that, Daniel. I appreciate it. So anyways, Reigns came down with the Usos. We had a 6-man tag team match, and Edge's entrance too. Just pure goosebumps. It was so cool to see Edge come out there with the fan reaction. It felt like the Rumble, that kind of pop that he got. And he was just soaking it in. Like, you really felt so happy for these guys that they're able to be out there and perform. You could really see with guys like Edge how happy he was to be out there with the fans. And Edge, the Mysterios, this was Dominik's first match in front of paying fans. He was not on the WrestleMania 37 card, so this was Dominik's first time working in front of a live paying audience. And this was a fun opening match. You had a pretty standard tag match, but it was just fun to have the fans back for this. And Reigns being a heel, he was getting booed. He ended up power bombing Dominik on the table. Edge would end up spearing Reigns on the outside of the ring, and then back in the ring, Jey Uso rolled up Rey Mysterio, grabbing the tights to pick up the win. So yeah, new era with the fans, but it's the same story with the roll up. I wish WWE would not do the roll-up finishes as much, but for this show, I'll give him a pass. So afterwards, we had Reigns hitting a Superman punch to Edge. Edge had grabbed the chair and was hitting the Usos with the chair. Reigns came in with a Superman punch, and then Reigns, he kicked that piece of the chair that Edge used to choke him and the Usos out in previous weeks. Actually, I think it was just the Usos. And then he was going to get some payback on Edge, but then Edge came back with a spear, and then Edge put the crossface on Reigns with that piece of the chair. So Edge getting the upper hand on Reigns. Great visual there. I love how he got it on all three guys heading into the pay-per-view. Reigns tapped out. And how do I feel about that as far as my predictions? You're going to have to wait and see. Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, we will be doing live predictions for Money in the Bank. I have my predictions ready to go, and I'm glad that we waited until after this show to do the predictions, because I really needed to see what happens on these go-home shows before I can make proper predictions and the best educated predictions possible. And Edge held up the Universal Championship, got a big reaction from the crowd. And then we had a backstage interview with Edge. He said that it's not going to be easy on Sunday. He has to beat Roman Reigns at Roman's own game. And then Rollins showed up laughing. Rollins with his ridiculous suit, but that's his style. And Rollins said that Roman has Edge's number. However, Rollins hopes that Edge wins. Rollins wants to win Money in the Bank and then finish what he started 7 years ago. So they made a reference to when Rollins was going to injure Edge, if you guys remember that segment from all those years ago. He said he wants to cash in on the man that started Money in the Bank, the guy that made Money in the Bank famous. Christopher says, when is Caitlyn going to be on predictions? Anytime she wants. The door's open. It's just a matter of she's motivated to do it or not. She actually did watch Smackdown, and she hasn't been watching a lot of the shows lately, but she did stick around for the entire Smackdown. So that should tell you something. And TJS wonders how the numbers for the show will look. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, like how much of a difference the fans made as far as casual viewers giving SmackDown another shot now that the fans are back. So anyways, we had Sami Zayn come down to the ring for a promo, and he vented about being excluded from the Money in the Bank ladder match. He talked about there being a conspiracy. He wants justice. He tried to get a chant going, but they weren't doing it, so he called them a bunch of yeehaws. And he said if there was any justice, the briefcase would be lowered for him and he would be declared the winner. And that's when we had the music of Finn Balor hit. Finn Balor back on SmackDown, and a lot of people figured he would be coming back to the main roster after dropping the NXT title. I talked about like his entrance being perfect for the return of fans. Everybody doing the Finn Balor taunt as they did. He came down to the ring, and Sami Zayn tried to attack him. Balor got the upper hand, hit the coup de grace onto Sami Zayn. And glad to see Finn Balor back on SmackDown. And maybe at some point we'll see Balor versus Roman Reigns for the Universal title. If, of course, Reigns stays champion, which you have to wait for my predictions video to get my thoughts on that. Walter Cruz with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Walter. I appreciate it. Says, I understand why they made Roman tap out. They want us to think he has a chance of winning, but we all know the tribal chief will still win. Well, there you have it from Walter Cruz, and you know they definitely got that point across with Reigns tapping out. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, I hope Balor doesn't just smile all the time. I'm with you on that, and I really hope we get to see Finn Balor as the Demon again. They got to bust it out. If Balor faces Reigns Imagine if Balor came out as the demon against Roman Reigns for the title. Like, that would be hot. I hope they do that at some point. And if the demon has to lose at some point, that would be the match for the demon to lose against Roman Reigns. But they got to do it. Like, to me, it's a missed opportunity if you don't have the Balor demon character go up against Roman Reigns for the title. Like, I think people would believe Balor had a chance of winning. If it's regular Finn Balor, I don't think people would buy it. But if it was Demon Balor, I think people would be into it more. So next up, we had a rematch. Again, fans are back, but it's still WWE. Of course, we have to have rematches. We had Shotzi, no longer Shotzi Blackheart. She's just Shotzi. And Tegan Nox, although they're called Shotzi and Nox, up against the tag team champions, Natalya and Tamina, the final two participants in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. A little anticlimactic. I was hoping they would save that last spot as a surprise and maybe bring back Becky Lynch or bring back any number of people as a big surprise, just to keep people guessing. Alberto Gomez with a $5 super chat says, Roman Reigns' entrance theme was made for a live crowd. Yes, he was booed, but holy shit, what an entrance. I'm with you 100% on that, Alberto. That entrance theme, I'm not the biggest fan of the new guys they have that replaced CFOs, but that Roman song is pretty epic. I will give them credit for that. So we had the tag team match. And we had Liv Morgan and Zelina Vega on commentary. And am I the only one that thinks that they were really annoying? Like, they were just arguing back and forth. And it kind of took away from the match, in my opinion. Like, it was hard to focus on anything that was going on in the ring because they were just yapping back and forth like a couple of teenage girls. And it was just obnoxious, in my opinion. I'm not sure if that was the intention, but I mean, Liv Morgan's a babyface character, and I was finding her to be annoying. So anyways, Nox hit the shiniest wizard to Natalya. Tamina broke that up, and then Liv Morgan and Zelina Vega started fighting. Natalya got distracted, and Nox picked up the victory with, you guessed it, a roll-up, an inside cradle, whatever you want to call it. So 2 matches and 2 roll-up finishes. Yeah, I think they could have done better with this. I get it. The point of all this was to set up Money in the Bank. That's the focus. But yeah, the title situation with the tag team titles felt like an afterthought. So wasn't the biggest fan of all this stuff, but they were trying to build up Money in the Bank, so whatever. The fight continued after the match, and Liv Morgan was the last woman standing. So what does that mean? Again, stay tuned for the predictions. 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, Saturday night, 1 hour before Slammiversary. So you can watch our predictions. That'll be the lead-in, and then you can tune in for Slammiversary and see which former WWE stars might show up at the pay-per-view. We had another women's match, so WWE giving the women a lot of time on this show. Carmella challenging the Smackdown Women's Champion, Bianca Belair. And the crowd was really into Bianca. She definitely has momentum. The fans were into her. Pretty standard match. I mean, nothing too special about it. It was your standard Smackdown title match on TV. I wouldn't say it was like a pay-per-view quality match, but it was good. Carmella got on a submission, and Bianca powered out, hit a vertical suplex, and Carmella started messing with Bianca's hair, and that's when you cross the line. When you do that, you're in trouble. It's practically the same thing as when a heel tries to use the babyface's finisher. Like, that's when you're done for. And sure enough, Bianca got her hair back. She whipped Carmella with it, got the big crowd pop, hit the KOD, picked up the victory. And yeah, fun match here. Bianca gets a title retention. Good stuff. And we had a video package for Toni Storm, who will be on next week's show. And next week's going to be interesting. Next week is going to be in 2 locations. They're doing SmackDown in Cleveland, but they're also going to air 2 matches from this hip-hop music festival in Florida. That will be interesting. I kind of feel bad for the Cleveland fans. They're gonna have to watch 2 matches on the Titantron or get 2 dark matches, whatever WWE plans on doing. I feel bad about the Cleveland fans. I hope WWE gives them like a really good dark match main event to make up for it. Maybe do a cage match or something. I mean, you can definitely make it up to those fans and give them a really cool match next week. Jeff Meacham with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Jeff. Says Raw in Chicago and WWE Super Show in Georgia just days after I am. Grr. Congrats to Nick Aldis on 1,000 days in his second reign as the NWA World's Champion. Basically, for those of you that don't know, Jeff's going on a road trip across the country, going to Chicago, going to Georgia. Follow him at _Jeff Meacham, and you can find out where he's going to be if you want to try to say hi. But yeah, I guess he's missing out on a few shows, unfortunately. Hey, timing doesn't work sometimes. I wanted to go to All Out, but a certain big baller G has to have a wedding the day before All Out, so damn you, Big G, but I'll be at your wedding. Mike D with a $2 super chat says, Sasha Banks should be back any day now for her rematch. Yeah, well, hopefully WWE will bring her back. You know, there's all that speculation. If you've been going on No DQ and social media, she's been liking certain anti-vaccine posts, and who knows what's up with that, if that's even true or not, or if people are just making a story out of nothing. Who knows? But hopefully we do see Sasha Banks back. And you know what? I'm fine with her not being on this show. You know, you don't have to bring back everybody on one show. I think it's good to save it for the next couple of weeks. Bring back Sasha another week. Bring back Cena another week. You don't have to bring back all these people on one show. You know, spread it out a little bit. TJS says, should I get vaccinated? Yeah. And Psycho Jet Black says, are you and Big G going to review All Out? Yeah, that's the plan at this point. The plan is to do something in person when we recap the All Out pay-per-view, and I think Virtue is going to be there. Greg Cherry will be there. So yeah, I'm hopeful to get the guys together in person. Haven't done like an in-person recap with anybody other than Caitlyn in well over a year. So I think the last time was with Jeff in February of 2020 before COVID hit. And Walter Cruz with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Walter. Says, the champions lose 2 weeks straight, and instead of them defend the titles at Money in the Bank, you have them in the Money in the Bank match wasting 2 spots. WWE logic. Yeah, and again, they lose 2 weeks in a row, and the tag titles, the whole thing with the tag titles, it's kind of like an afterthought because all the focus was on Money in the Bank. So yeah. Anyways, we had the Alpha Academy, Chad Gable, and the new and I guess improved Otis with a clean shave and short hair. They cut a promo hyping up the match against Cesaro. Otis said that the WWE locker room smells fear. Cesaro showed up and said, oh, the only thing he smells is bull. And Otis attacked Cesaro. That led to a match. Cesaro was holding his ribs. Not really much of a match here. It was basically an angle. Gable got on the apron, but Otis was not able to really capitalize on that. Otis got sent into the ring post, and then Chad came in and hit Cesaro with the German suplex, causing a disqualification. And then afterwards, Cesaro made a comeback, hit the uppercut, did the big swing. You got to have the big swing on the first show back with the fans. But then Otis attacked Cesaro and left Cesaro laid out with the Vader bomb. So, again, more of an angle than a match. Just, you know, building up their storyline. I guess Cesaro will be feuding with the Alpha Academy for now. We had a Paul Heyman backstage promo, which was interrupted by Big E. And Big E did the whole "don't you dare be sour" Crowd was really into this, of course. And Big E said that Edge has a hold on Roman and Heyman should be worried. And then we had Sad Corbin. I call him Sad Corbin because WWE trademarked the term Happy Corbin. So at some point, I suspect Corbin will become a happy man. So anyways, we had a video package of how Corbin has fallen on hard times. Corbin talked about having no more money, how his house is on the verge of being foreclosed. And guess what came back? You guys have missed it. It's been gone now for almost a year and a half, but it came back tonight. What was it, everybody? What? You got it. The what chant has returned for Baron Corbin. So that will be a future trivia question. Who was the first person that the crowd chanted what at when WWE returned to doing live touring? The answer would be Baron Corbin. Corbin announced that he had a crowd-funded website called CorbinFund.com, and it actually exists. There's actually a website, although WWE was lazy and they just threw up a graphic. They should have made like an actual little website. If you watched Breaking Bad, they had SaveWalterWhite.com that Walt Jr. made, and it was an actual full functioning website, and the link for the PayPal just went to AMC's website. So they could have done that. They could have made like an actual website, and if you click the link to donate, it just went to WWE.com. They were kind of lazy with it. They just threw up a graphic, but at least they made the domain name. So anyways, Kevin Owens interrupted, and Owens was not too impressed with Corbin. Corbin was asking for help, saying that Owens can spare a little bit of money because Owens doesn't spend much on wardrobe. And at that point, Owens took him out with a stunner. Crowd popped big for that. And then we had our fatal four-way match, and Smackdown was getting close to the end of the show. I was a little disappointed because I was hoping for a longer fatal four-way, especially in the main event spot. I was hoping they would have like a pay-per-view quality match, but it was pretty short. That was a little bit of a letdown. And it was more focused on the entrances, which I guess for the first show back, that's not a big deal because the entrances are really cool, especially on the first show back with fans. And I was worried they were actually, because it was getting so close to the end, I was worried that Nakamura's entrance was going to get cut because they had Big E come down to the ring and Owens was in there and they went to commercial. And I thought they better not cut Shin's entrance. And they did not. So I was happy. We got the full Rick Boogs introduction for Nakamura. Love the crowd reacting. They were singing his song again. And Nakamura came off like a major superstar. It's awesome. I love it. And you had Pat McAfee on commentary. He was super energetic as usual. He was great the whole show. He actually trended on Twitter. And this happened the other week too, where he trended with people praising him. Like, I feel like there's so many times where people trend on Twitter for negative reasons because they said something stupid. But Pat McAfee is actually trending on Twitter because people like the guy. That's a nice change of pace, I have to say. So yeah, Pat McAfee did great. And the beginning of the match, we had Rollins attempting to escape. Big E did his running spear to the outside. Owens came over the top with a dive to Big E, and then Nakamura jumped off the apron onto Owens, and then we had a commercial break. We came back, and they went at it for a couple minutes, and then Rollins took apart the announce table. Owens climbed up the ladder and hit a flying elbow to Shinsuke Nakamura through the table. And the best part of this, the spot was really cool, but the cameraman completely got wiped out and he flipped, like the camera flipped completely 360. It was really cool. It was a really cool moment with the cameraman getting wiped out and the camera just completely flipping around in a 360 circle. And then back in the ring, Rollins hit a stomp on the ladder to pin Big E. They had ladders surrounding the ring because this was hyping up Money in the Bank. So, they did a couple things with the ladders, you know, to give people a taste of what to expect at the pay-per-view. So that was well done. I would have preferred a longer match, but we got the big entrances. We had a couple cool spots, and you set up Money in the Bank. Rollins climbed up, grabbed the briefcase as the final moment of the show. And again, do I think that means Rollins is going to lose? You guys will have to tune in for the predictions video. And don't leave yet, because like I told you guys, we're going to do a quick rapid-fire Q&A in just a few minutes here. I'm going to answer a ton of questions. But first, Hamp Connell sent in a $2 super chat, says, but of course, we had another roll-up pin, $2. Well, thank you for that. There were actually two, so I should get two for each one, right? Or is it just one per show? And TGS is like, well, we know who isn't winning. So anyways, awesome SmackDown. Great first show back. Will it sustain? That I'm not sure about. I still have some doubt because we got those roll-ups and there are still a few things on the show that I'm like, I'm not sure how I feel about this. But overall, it was a great show. It was not a complete home run, in my opinion, but it was a damn fun show, and it flew by. And the fans, they made such a big difference. And you know, the fans might not be as hot on other shows. I mean, I suspect things will cool off, especially on Raw. As Caitlin said, it's probably all downhill from here. But we got Money in the Bank. The first Raw, I think, will be really hot. And SmackDown next week will be interesting. And SummerSlam should be a lot of fun. It's just September and October I'm worried about. So anyways, James with a $5 super chat says, this is the kind of show that keeps us all watching. It's proof that they can produce great content when they want to. So I'm giving the show an A-. Great show. Definitely check out all the stuff in the beginning with Roman Reigns and that 6-man match. The Finn Balor return and the main event stuff with Kevin Owens and Corbin. I mean, the Corbin stuff was entertaining, even though the crowd chanted what at him. I think the fans were still entertained by the segment. It wasn't necessarily that they were bored with Corbin. So anyways, Colin Andrew with a B+, Muhammad with a B+, Terry Waller with an A-, CC Drink with an A-, Hamp Connell with an A-. Without the crowd, it would have been a B-. Noah Foster says, as a non-viewer, I say B. Michael Wayne with an A-, and Joseph with a B+. Game is on 100, gives it an A-. And Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, will fans boo Drew McIntyre's stories? Well, they might give him the what chance, and WWE pretty much encouraged fans to chant what. They tweeted out a video of fans chanting what, and then Drew McIntyre, quote, retweeted it using a Jonah Hill gif where he's like shaking his head no. But yeah, I would not be surprised if Drew starts getting the what chants, but maybe he's turning heel. Maybe they're doing the stories for a reason, and there are plans to turn him heel at some point. And TJS says, I do not miss the Thunderdome. Yeah, so that was the thing. When they showed the clips of the Thunderdome, you know, after we had all these moments with the live fans, I'm like, how did I sit through a year of watching people on video screens? Like, how did I even do that? Like, it's like night and day. And I don't know how I got through it. And I'm very curious to see what the numbers are for this SmackDown and if they'll go back up on a consistent basis. Because, yeah, the Thunderdome was better than the Performance Center. But nothing replaces the fans. And this show really proved it. So, what we're going to do now is a rapid-fire Q&A. So you guys, ask me any wrestling questions you want. I prefer something that I can answer with a quick yes or no, but I'm going to try to get through them as quickly as possible for like the last 2 or 3 minutes of this live stream. So everybody in the chat room, give me a question, anything about wrestling, anything, and I will give you an answer. So Noah Foster, TJS, whatever you guys got, I'm doing rapid fire. Kurapika07, who is Finn Balor feuding with first? Probably Sami Zayn, if I had to make a guess. MJJ MD87, bring back King of the Ring? 100% Yes, absolutely. And as a pay-per-view. Mike D, will CM Punk be back in WWE by the end of 2022? Maybe. I want to say maybe. I'm leaning towards no, but maybe. Mr. Dijakovic says, do you like Demon Finn Balor? Yes, and I want to see him challenge Roman Reigns for the Universal title. TJS with a comment here, or a question. Worst wrestler of all time. Great colleague. Michael Wayne, will Adam Page beat Kenny Omega at All Out? Yes, I think he will. Mr. Dark Fantasy, where do you predict the Rumble's 22 location? Probably somewhere that has little COVID restrictions, and probably the South. TJS says, will Undertaker wrestle again? Maybe. I would not be shocked if he did. Psycho Jet Black, is the Attitude Era coming back? No. Muhammad, will Sasha Banks return this Sunday? Maybe. Alberto, is Cena winning his 17th? Yes. Don't know when, though. Noah Foster, retire Hell in a Cell or TLC as a pay-per-view? Retire both of them. And Atomic Cody, who should beat Lashley for the WWE title? I would say Karrion Kross if they book him right. Mike B, will there be any big surprises for Monday on Raw? I would think there's a very good chance of that happening. Otto119, which one was better, Attitude Era or Ruthless Aggression Era? Attitude Era, in my opinion. Calvin Bowman, will Cyber Sunday return? I'm thinking there's a good chance. Lakers 2989, will Daniel Bryan be at All Out? I'm leaning towards yes if I had to make a bold prediction. Matt Helms, again, said bring back King of the Ring. Wonka TV said, is the TV ratings that important nowadays? Yes, because you want the networks to be happy at the end of the day. They're paying out big money, and they want the numbers. The advertisers want the numbers. Greg says to AEW, CM Punk or Daniel Bryan? I would say Bryan is more likely at this point. Colin Andrew, Becky's first feud back. Good question. If she's on Raw, then she's going to go for the champion. And would not shock me if it ends up being Charlotte, but we're going to do the predictions, and I'll have to give my prediction on that. I'm still not entirely sure who I'm going with, by the way, on that one. Psycho Jet Black, will Adam Cole debut as Michael Cole's nephew? I would say there's at least a small chance of that happening. Ill Games the Gamer, will the feud be fired next? I hope not, but I do hope that they come up with something with him to freshen up his character. And Divine Existence says, will Naomi ever join up with the Tribal Chief? I'd like to see it happen, but I'm not getting my hopes up. And Michael Wayne, will Royal Rumble on Saturday will the Royal Rumble be on Saturday like SummerSlam due to the NFL? It might be. If SummerSlam's a big success, I could see that happening. James, when will Shamrock go into the Hall of Fame? Hopefully soon. But again, I think that depends on if Vince decides to induct him into the Hall of Fame. All right, so I will stop for that. That's my first edition of the Rapid Fire Q&A. I think I'm going to do this on a regular basis at the end of the live streams for Raw and SmackDown and maybe Dynamite and NXT as well. So keep your questions coming in. Thank you guys for participating. I'm out for the night. Thank you all. Subscribe, tell a friend, and just spread the word. NoDQ.com will have coverage this weekend. Take care, everybody, and I will see you all